Really happy to be here. In September, we announced the acquisition of Cenex, very good company in the assurance space. Really happy to welcome them on board, including Nan Chen, standing there in the background. Welcome to the team. Cenex is a long-standing partner of MEF, of course, and we're really happy to stand behind and join this effort. Technology is amazing. The pace of the innovation is really accelerating. The number of use cases that are possible today compared to 5-10 years ago is amazing, and now we have 5G around the corner. We heard Verizon talking about 5G, the possibilities that 5G open up. And these use cases, of course, apply for business to consumer, for business to business, regardless of whether you're retail or wholesale. Amazing use cases. But on the other hand, the number of challenges that these technologies represent in order to capitalize on them are also significant. The densification of the networks is going to be immense compared to today. Slicing is just amazingly powerful, but think of the challenge to provision slicing, to monetize slicing. Think about the ecosystem, because we're not alone. We need to operate in an ecosystem. How do we make this work? So, looking back at the year of AT&T launching Domain 2.0, we had a set of expectations which were very good, very, very ambitious. I think we saw telecom being on par with other industries, or maybe being ahead of other industries. Really delivering on decoupling, uncoupling, on commoditization in some layers, much more agility, much lower cost. And if I'm a bit brutal, painting this in red, today, are we happy with how virtualization has evolved in terms of delivering that much increased agility, that significantly lower cost? I think some of us, some use cases are really good. They're really driving a differentiation, and I think we feel, the power of technology, that this can really change the operation, the time to market. But there's quite a few CTOs, I think, and CIOs, and maybe even more CMOs, heads of operations, who say, this needs to mature quite a bit compared to what it is, where it is today. Hard to integrate, absolutely. This is not just greenfield. Let's start with a new complete stack in isolation from legacy. It needs to operate across legacy and the new technology. The complexity in integrating, it's not really plug and play. There's a lack of standards, which is why MEF is so fundamentally important. Who is responsible? The VNF vendor, the NFVI vendor, the orchestration vendor, when something goes wrong? The finger pointing goes in all directions until that precise root cause is identified. I put operations here in the middle. One thing is to engineering to say this is the way it's going to be, but operations, who are used to work with stable native applications for many, many years, hardened applications, who have now to operate some of these new, more immature environments, naturally are pushing back. Part of this is also related to technology being maybe too prioritized. This is really a change management which spans across the organization, business operations, processes, process simplification, maybe more centralization compared to before. And many organizations have spent maybe a little bit too much time proportionally in the labs and not thinking really about the impact on the organization and processes. So we thought 2013 we were ahead of the pack, or at least on par with the pack. A reality check, where do we stand today? Telco is probably behind quite a few other verticals, industries, e-commerce for sure being one of them. The web scalers, the capability that they have in terms of automation is amazing. Facilitated, of course, by DevOps, by having one single organization spanning across R&D on operations instead of telco, where we typically have this vendor customer separation. So technology is there in many cases, but the level of maturity of telecom, the level of introduction, capitalization of AI and automation is quite low. Typically, when I show this slide and then ask a CTO, CIO, so where do you think you stand? They will typically say, well, step 1 or 2. This is a transformation. This is something that requires a lot of effort. Typically, shortcuts are not really possible. Is it optional? Can I live without automation and AI? Maybe today, definitely not tomorrow. With 5G, with those capabilities that 5G offers, unless we as an industry increase significantly the level of automation compared to today, the costs will escalate, will increase significantly, which is of course not sustainable. Very important as well is there are some companies who have come a bit further than others and are reaping the benefits of this. And I want to mention Verizon as an example. We're lucky to have them as a customer, and they capitalize on automation. They capitalize on, to some degree, AI as well, but really a significant improvement of the processes through technology, and went in the SD-WAN and virtual CPE area from a 21-day time to market to minutes, let's say an hour roughly, which is an amazing achievement. And I'm sure many of you will say, well, we as well. We also have an initiative here which allows us to significantly improve time to market and lower cost. But most of these cases are, I think you will agree with me, more the exceptions than the rule. We have a lot of work to do. In Ericsson, we have a division called Managed Services, which is one of 4 business areas. And we capitalize on their experience as much as we can. They operate roughly networks for 700, 800 million subscribers. Really massive operation. And they were the first to capitalize on AI and automation. And we in the product division, software divisions, are listening as closely as we can to their experience and include automation and AI into our technologies. One example of that is, of course, with CNEX, the capability to close a loop between our orchestration or somebody else's orchestration and CNEX's assurance. Go from open loop to closed loop assurance. So to recap, time to take action across many dimensions. One is standardization. MEF is an extremely important body that we need to capitalize on. Not the only one, there's others, but MEF is very important. Time to take action in terms of really starting to introduce or accelerate the pace of the implementation of AI and automation in our organization as we climb that staircase towards much more automation compared to today. Time to take action to try to do this together with our customers, to try to really learn through experimentation, what are they really needing? What are their fundamental requirements? Time to take action as well in terms of more cooperation between vendors and customers. You really capitalize on CI/CD, capitalize on closer cooperation where we learn from each other instead of having very strong separation. So technology is there, a lot of it. Some of it is still immature, but we can do much more, and we can look with inspiration at other verticals, how far they come, and improve. And again, maybe finally then, this is not optional. This is a must for us as an industry. If we don't do this, we will not be able to capitalize on the 5G opportunities. Thank you very much.